G'day friends, welcome to Break Free Life Coaching and welcome to Module 2 of the Kickstart Your Life package. So how did you go last week? Last week we had the opportunity to explore together your ideal average day. Did you know for most people they never even had the opportunity to sit down and really focus on what it is that they're passionate about? Most people are too busy, they've got too much on. The whirlwind of life just takes away their time. You know, kids, partners, shopping, work, whatever. Most people don't take the opportunity to sit down and find out what their purpose is, what their passion is, and what their life's ambition is. I actually find it's a little bit sad that people don't get the opportunity to be able to really explore what it is that they want to go and achieve. I really hope you enjoyed the session last week, where you had that opportunity to go back and tap back into the ideal you. Who do you want to become into the future? When I did this exercise, I found it really exciting to work out where I wanted to be, what it is I wanted to do. It was through that process that led me here today, that I wanted to help people find the same passion within them and let it come out. That's what my business is all about. I really hope you enjoyed that activity. But I've got to ask, why is it that you're not achieving it now? Why aren't you achieving your ideal average day? Why aren't you achieving your dreams? And quite simply, the reason is fear. Most people are afraid to go after that. I'd hallucinate that most of us through life, we do the best that we can with the resources that we have. We're all out there striving to achieve the best person that we can be, but life gets in the way. Like I said, we've got work, we've got family, we've got friends, some of us have children, some of us have parents that we need to look after. Whatever the situation is for you, that impacts on your time. But I believe if you're here, then you're trying to do the best that you can and you're looking for that little bit more. Well, today's a really great day because today we're going to explore how to overcome fear. I believe our main fears can be broken down into 4 main areas. The first fear is the fear of not being good enough. Now this relates to all sorts of enough type activities. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not strong enough. I don't communicate well enough. These are all just excuses as a facade to that hidden fear of I'm not good enough. Throughout the coaching session, we'll explore some of these fears to try and identify if this is a fear for you and why that might be the case. The second primary fear is, will I be judged? Now this goes into that category that, oh, I can't do that, I'll be embarrassed. What will my friends think? What will people say of me? You know, I hear some people say, well, I don't care what people, say or what people think about me. And I often question that because when their actions don't necessarily are consistent or congruent with what they say. So they try and justify to themselves that, hey, I don't worry about what people say, I don't worry about people think about me. Yet they're still afraid to go and do activities for that very reason, that they're afraid of what people will say and what people will think about them. It's a very interesting challenge that some people have when faced with this type of fear. The third fear is, will I belong? Will I be rejected from my friends? Will I be rejected from the group? Will I still have my same network of friends? This quite often appears in the work environment. Will I be ostracized from the group? And the fourth primary fear is, will I still be loved? What will my partner think of me? What will my family, what will my friends think of me? If I go and do X activity, will that change the relationship that I have with the people around me? Unfortunately, those type of thoughts will hold you back. Because if your loved ones and your family and your friends truly loved you and wanted to see you succeed, they'd be pushing you to go and achieve your goals. So the fear that they're going to stop loving you for that, we really need to explore why that's the case. How would your life be served better if you knew that everybody in your life was there to support you with their fan squad, your cheer squad, pushing you, driving you, making you achieve more? How would your life look then? The coaching session this week will explore what it is, what language do you use when you're faced with a new challenge. We can then link those into some of these fears, then try and identify how that fear comes about. We'll then work on some strategies so that when that fear shows up, you know how to move past it. Let me ask you this. If you knew that when you woke up, whatever goal you set your mind to, whatever challenge it is that you faced for the day, if you knew that you could just go out and achieve it without fear, what type of person would you become? How would you feel? How would you stand from day to day? How would you walk around the community if you knew you had no fear holding you back? What would you say to yourself? I'd put to you that you'd become unstoppable. You become a leader within your community that people would look to and aspire to. And if anybody's there trying to pull you down, they're the people you don't need in your life anyway. You need people that are driving you forward, cheering you on, setting the example, being the leader, inspiring and aspiring to higher things. Fear is that one ingredient that's really holding you back. And that's why this session is so powerful for all of us. Gaining strategies and gaining skills on how to overcome fear is such a powerful tool to have in your toolkit. I really look forward to being able to work with you this week in identifying some of those fears. You'll know when fear is lying in the subconscious, just lying behind whatever it is that's going on in your life by the language that you use. Excuses are the facade to fear. If when we're talking and I ask you, why haven't you achieved X? And you say, oh, well, I was too busy. Or, I didn't have enough time. Or, I didn't have enough money. Or I didn't have enough knowledge. Or whatever other excuses that you'll come up with. Underneath that, there is a fear that's driving that. It's the excuses of the blanket that hides the fear underneath. The antidote for fear, my friends, is courage. But here's the rub. Courage will only show up when you take that first step. Think about that. You may have heard the saying that whatever you focus on, you'll get more of, or whatever you focus on, you will get. It's based on the law of attraction. There's a number of studies and of books and materials out there that explain how the more your mind focuses on what it is that you want, the more of that you'll get in evidence. And I'll give you an example. Have you ever noticed that when you've gone out and you've bought yourself a new car, or for ladies maybe a new dress or a new pair of shoes, that once you've purchased it, you then notice other people that have one very much like it. And the reason is you're now focused on that particular item. And when your focus is there, you become aware of those coming into your life more. I remember when I bought my first, it was my second car. It was a Cordia Turbo, God, way back in the 90s. And I'd never seen one before, or I thought I'd never seen one before. And after I purchased that car, wow, I noticed them everywhere. I saw them all the time, and I didn't realise up until I had that first car that they were around. And that's a very similar example about what you focus on, you'll get more into your consciousness. You're now more aware of it. So in order for you to move past the fear, you need to stop focusing on it. How do we stop focusing on it? We need courage. Now, most people will sit there and they'll wait for courage to show up. You know, oh, I'm just got to get stronger. I've just got to get more courageous. The problem is courage will not show up until you make that first step. When you put action into motion, courage will be there waiting for you. So that's the challenge. The challenge is actually to stop focusing on why you can't and focus on how you can. When you focus on the how you can, your brain will start to look for the solution. And that's where courage will be waiting. But if you're sitting there waiting for, well, I can't, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough knowledge, you'll just get evidence to support that. So the key to overcoming fear is to start. Feel the fear, do it anyway. Do you think successful people get up in the morning and focus on why they can't achieve their goal for the day? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Successful people get up, focus on what it is they need to achieve, and ask, how can I achieve that today? And they start. Now, they may not achieve it on the first go or the second go, but they'll get feedback to say, hey, you're slightly off track. That didn't get the outcome that you want. Let's adjust. And then they move forward. That's the key to overcoming fear, is starting, then adjust. I'm going to quickly share with you the ultimate success formula. And you'll notice that in this success formula, there is no sit and ponder and wonder about the fear. There's no time to reflect on why you can't achieve anything. It's all about taking action. The first step is knowing what your outcome is. Now, we touched on that a little bit last week about your ideal average day. Now, that might be a grand vision for you. Oh, and I hope it is. I hope it's a big vision for you. But at least we now know the outcome. Step 2 is take massive action to start working towards it. Most people stop at step 2. Most people have a vision and then give excuses. To be truly successful, you have your vision, start taking action. Take massive action. Step 3 is what we call being sensory acuity. Being aware of your environment and know what's going on around you. My goal might be, say, to go and run a half marathon in, I don't know, 3 hours. So I start working towards that. I take massive action. I go out there and I go and run 15 kilometers in one day. The next day I can't walk. I need to be aware that, okay, training like that is probably not going to continue to achieve the outcome. Maybe I need to make some adjustments. And that leads us into step 4. Having the behavioral adjustment ability to know what's working, what's not working, and to fine tune it as you go. I don't just suddenly stop running because of one day. I make adjustments, I fine tune it, maybe I cut down to starting off with a 3 kilometer run, then a 4 kilometer run the next week. Step 5 is belief. Have the physiology and the psychology that you're going to have it. You're going to achieve it. So for you, when you set your ideal average day, you might want to take one aspect of that and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to achieve that particular aspect this year, this month, this week. That's your objective. We call them goal. That's your goal. Take massive action towards it. What will happen when you start to take massive action is fear will just go away. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Don't worry about whether or not you're good enough. Just do it. Make adjustments as you go. Be aware of what's happening. And walk and talk and behave like you've already got it. That's the key. That's the key to success. That's why we call it the ultimate success formula. There's those 5 steps. Implementing those 5 steps in your life will help you overcome fear. Now look, you've got a big task ahead of you. It's a massive module. I'm really excited by the content that's in it. I really hope that it helps drive within you a need to bring out things you may not have thought about in a long time. I believe that every one of us has 3 or 4 real defining moments through our life that determine who we are or how we behave. The first one would have happened when you were really young, between 5 and 12. Something would have occurred in your life. You as a young person would have attached a meaning to that, quite possibly a negative meaning to that. And you carry that belief and that meaning with you as you get older. Your second one would have occurred somewhere between 10 and 17. Again, positive or negative. Again, whatever event that might have been, that defining moment, you would have attached a belief to it, either positive or negative. And then any evidence that you acquire after that will be justifying what you've seen. And then your third defining moment would have somewhere between the ages of 16 and 25. When you're going through this particular exercise, I really want you to sort of go back and explore. When you notice that you have a particular pattern, when an event shows up and then you have your fear starts to come out, try and identify when was the first time you ever noticed that happening. This is some of the things that we're going to explore in our coaching session together, is really to try and go back and identify what that was. Discuss the belief around it. Hopefully trying to make you see that the belief is just something you've created. And then we'll come up with a strategy on how to move forward. That's what this module is all about. It's about identifying fear, coming up with a strategy to get around it, and not letting it hold you back. My friends, this week I really look forward to our coaching session. My goal is to help you break free of those fears, break free of those beliefs, break free of those limitations, and help you achieve the extraordinary, aspirational life that I know you want to have. Enjoy the week, enjoy the module. I look forward to our session together. Have a great time. Good luck.